So based on all of that, Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole when eligible.
So O.J. Simpson will be a free man soon, nodding his head, repeating thank you after that announcement was made from a Nevada parole board. He has spent nearly 9 years in prison for an armed burglary in Las Vegas in 2007. And of course, a lot of us couldn't turn away from today's parole hearing.
Yeah, here's a look at how Simpson, his family, and even the victim of the robbery pleaded with the board to let O.J. out.
Good morning. This is the time and date set for the Orenthal James Simpson parole hearing.
I'm no danger to pull a gun on anybody. You know, I never have in my life. I've never been accused of it in my life. Nobody's ever accused me of pulling any weapon on them. And Bruce knows that I would never do that. I never have. I want to also, as a postscript, add that, you know, when I got to Lovelock, the state of California took up the issue of whose property it was. They did an investigation, and they came to the conclusion that it was my property. They turned it over to me. I have it now, you know? So, I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling that they turned over to me property that I'm in jail for trying to retrieve. You know, it was my property. I wasn't there to steal from anybody. And I would never, ever pull a weapon on anybody. I've always thought I've been pretty good with people, and I've basically spent a conflict-free life. You know, I'm not a guy that ever got into fights on the street and with the public and everybody, but as I said, they give you a bunch of little tools about how to talk to people instead of fighting, instead of throwing punches. Tools that I've used here that, you know, is how you talk to people, it's the tone that you use. The victim empathy was, once again, I didn't really see that in this case. I didn't really see that Alfred Beardsley was really affected by it all. But Bruce was affected. You know, Bruce was, I saw that he was affected, and as I said, I would have done anything not to have that happen. If for no other reason. I regret this because he had to have this guy point a gun at him. And he told me, he said, man, the guy put a gun in my face. You know, and I said, as I said in the beginning, I didn't believe it, but I know it to be a fact now. So I've done my time. You know, I've done it as well and as respectfully as I think anybody can. I think if you talk to the wardens then, they'll tell you I gave them my word. I believe in the jury system. I've honored their verdict. I have not complained for 9 years. All I've done is try to be helpful and encourage the guys around there, hey man, do your time, fight in court, and don't do anything that's going to extend your time. And that's the life I've tried to live.
Are you humbled by this incarceration?
Oh, yes, for sure. As I said, I wish it would have never happened. I was going to start, I didn't know how we were going to do this, by apologizing to the people of Nevada because I wish this would have never happened. I apologized to him at my sentencing. You know, there's nothing I can do about this kind of media circus that's going on right now, but I could do something about the whole thing in the beginning. If I would have made a better judgment back then, none of this would have happened. And I take full responsibility because I should have never, you know, I haven't made any excuses in 9 years here, but I should have never allowed these alleged security guys to help me because it turned out they were only trying to help themselves. If they weren't there, Bruce and I, we tried to do this. We tried to sit down in the room and call this guy Mike Gilbert and discuss it all, but these guys took over and we were unable to do that. If we were able to do that, you would have never heard about this. None of us would be here today.
And I, for myself, am grateful to God for giving us the strength to get through this last 9 years and to stay positive always, no matter what. And a lot of that is because of him. So on behalf of my family, my brother, my sister, an aunt, an uncle, his friends, We just want him to come home.
I don't feel that he's a threat to anyone out there. He's a good man. I know that he does a lot for other people. And I feel that 9.5 to 33 years was way too long. And I feel that it's time to give him a second chance. It's time for him to go home to his family.
I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry to Nevada. I wish Ricio had never called me. I thought I was glad to get my stuff back, but it wasn't worth it. You know, 9 years away from your family is just not worth it. And I'm sorry.
Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole when eligible, and that will conclude this hearing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, coming up in just a few minutes, we will head out to Nevada for a live report.